one more time.
Well, you must come back when you can stay longer.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a pleasure to have you here for Evergreen, and I congratulate you on a wonderful performance.
Thank
in
you.
Evergreen.
Thanks.
I can tell, even though this may be your debut in feature films, it's not your debut as an actress.
Yeah, well, I've done some stage work before with Seattle Children's Theater. I've taken a lot of classes with them and done some of their summer stages and just a couple other little productions around town, but this was a whole different experience.
Had you ever done anything on film or video?
No, I mean, besides little school projects, the astronomy class video where I play all the constellations, but nothing on camera before.
What prompted you to go to the open audition?
Well, because I was taking classes at Seattle Children's Theater, I was called up through them. So they called me and I just went in like a couple days later. Not much time to prepare, but I think it worked out.
Did you have any idea at all what the script was or the character?
Well, they just gave me a few scenes beforehand and a little description of the characters. So it's difficult at first because you just don't really know what the director wants. You can see a lot of different ways that it can be played, and you just have to pick one and go with it, and then, you know, have someone direct you afterwards and really see what their vision is.
What for you was the hardest thing about doing Evergreen?
Everything was so new. It was just kind of odd to get into a place that was so different, and the schedule was so different, and I was out of school, and it was long days, and I was barely at home, and when I was at home I just went to sleep and woke up and, you know, not seeing friends, and it was just so different than my normal life. It really threw off my routine, but I was so happy. I had a lot of fun too.
The first time you saw yourself up on the big screen, what was your reaction?
Well, the first time I saw myself was actually at Sundance, so it was with an audience, which I was a little afraid of just because I hear all these actors' stories about, even if, you know, critically, everyone loves their performance, but they just say, oh, they hate it, and they cry afterwards. So I was a little afraid that I was going to have a reaction like that. Not that I expected to dislike the film, I just didn't know how I would react. So I was very glad that I didn't feel that way. I was happy with the results. It still didn't feel like seeing a movie for a long time. I had to watch it quite a few times to really feel like it was real and on screen. But I enjoyed it. It was fun to see.
Did it look like you thought it was going to look?
I just had no idea how it was going to look. I had no idea because I've never been involved in anything like this, and I didn't get a chance to see any dailies while we were shooting. I just had only seen a little bit of raw footage, just of a couple of scenes. So I had no idea, and I liked that. I liked having the little surprises of, oh, you know, I don't remember ever having this look there, or I didn't get to see that scene shot. And so I was happy. It was really fun. That's what made it really interesting the first time, the things that I didn't know about beforehand.
Did you or do you know anybody like Henry, short for Henrietta?
Well, I don't know people in her exact situation, certainly, but I know people who've had hard times, and whether it's because of being in poverty or, you know, just family situations or anything, I know people who have gone through struggles, certainly.
Your own family life, what is it like? Do you have brothers and sisters?
No, I'm an only child, but I have a great relationship with my parents, and they have their own business, so they're home pretty much all the time, or one of them is home all the time because they work out of their home. And so, yeah, I get along great with my parents. I love them.
You were telling me that the school you attend gave you credit for making and being in the movie Evergreen.
Yes, yeah, that was quite nice. I go to a really non-traditional high school. It's great. It's in the Seattle public school system, but it's very different than a lot of the other schools, and I'm so glad I was going there because most schools wouldn't have let me take off a month of school to go film this. And so it was really lucky that I was there. Because all the teachers were really supportive. I just had to meet with them about my classes and, you know, do some makeup work here and there. But basically, I got credit for doing this. My teachers were so supportive. I just had to write up a little portfolio about what I did. And, you know, everyone has been really great.
So, in other words, they didn't like give you an A+ for performance, or
Well, at our school we don't have grades, but they did give me honors. So
do you think now that this is what you want to do with the rest of your life, be an actress?
I really enjoyed it. I would certainly like to do more. I'm trying to pursue that now. At the same time, it's not something that I'd be so desperate to do that I'd want to really disrupt my life in a way that I didn't like. I love Seattle. I love living there. I wouldn't want to move down to LA, at least at this point when everything is so unsure. But I certainly want to pursue it.
Will you go on to college?
I hope to, certainly. And again, I'd like to near Seattle. I really like math too, so I'd want to go somewhere with a good math program. Kind of odd. Everyone thinks I'd want to go to a big drama place, but I figure if I can learn by doing it, I might as well do it that way and pursue things that I wouldn't just be able to do on my own in school.
What would you do with the math degree?
Oh, I don't know. It'd just be fun.
In this movie, did you have any one scene that you worried about, or any one scene that you thought, oh gosh, I don't know if I nailed that one?
There were certainly a few scenes that I was worried about and that I kind of dreaded, and it was like, I really hope that I get this right. There's one scene where my mother in the movie slaps me, and I run out of the house. And I was worried about getting that right because I felt it was, a critical point. It was a very emotional scene too. And plus, on that day, we ended up really having to squeeze things in, and so we didn't have a lot of takes. But after shooting the scene, I was really happy with it, and it was just such a huge relief. And I felt good about it. I felt like everyone was doing a good job, and it really felt, I had to sort of calm down afterwards, and so that felt nice.
There's such a difference in the discipline between stage acting and film acting. Mm-hmm. Was that a difficult transition for you?
It was a bit difficult. It was really helpful with Enid because she really took the time to sit down and talk with me beforehand. We had a number of callbacks before I actually got the part, and some of those included just meeting with her at a cafe and talking about both the script and the character, and also just differences between film and stage, because no one had ever really sat me down and told me that. I had a couple of other film auditions before, only a couple, but I just had gone into them not knowing what to do and not really knowing that there was a difference. So everyone was telling me, okay, bring it down, it's different, do everything smaller. So it was really nice to have that, to have someone really just tell me how it is, and just the little things, learn the little details. I learned so much on this project.
Tell me a couple of movies that have young actors in them that you like. In other words, let me start your thinking. Did you see the movie 13?
I saw that, yeah. I saw it, actually a couple people before I had seen it and before this movie came out were asking me about, if they thought it was similar or not. I hadn't seen it. I saw it just about a couple months ago. I think there's differences in the movie. It portrays teenage life very differently in much more of an extreme way. And I guess for me, I haven't really been a part of that type of life, so I can't really comment on how realistic or truthful it is. I haven't been in those situations, so I can't really say what it's like in real life. But this is a different portrayal that, for me, I can connect with this story more.
When you set out to go to the movies, what kind of movie do you look for? You're looking through the movie schedule. What do you look for?
I like lots of different types of movies, as long as they're good. I tend to now like more thoughtful dramas, and I like a lot of independent movies. I like going to the film festival. The Seattle Film Festival is really great. I went to a bunch of films there. I like a variety of movies. It just depends on how well they're acted and directed and written. The genre doesn't really matter.
So it might be an action film, or?
Yeah, I don't go for as much as I don't care as much about the action, but I care if the characters are interesting. I love The Lord of the Rings, and a lot of people would call those action movies, but I don't think of them as action movies because I just think the characters are so in depth and it's so well written that it's really more of just a look into these lives. whereas the action is more a part of the story and really means something instead of just action for the sake of action. So I like it I really like character-driven movies.
What about Harry Potter?
I love the books. The movies, I felt, I liked them fine. They were fun. They were fun for what they were. I think they were more geared towards younger kids, but the books are for all ages. I love the books.
I detect that you like the books better.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I just did. Well, Addie, it's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
And I think if you want that career, I think you can have it as an actor.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations. I think it's a very impressive performance you give in Evergreen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Good. Very good.